Hey, what's up, guys? So it's like, well, let's see, let's count the hours. A good 5 hours after the match, and I've had a chance to digest. I've had a chance to think about and look over situations, my reffing, their performances, the two in-club super matches. It went about how I expected from my point of view and my job. I think I did well. I think there's a lot of holes in my reffing game, a lot of areas that I need to fix, things I need to get right in my mind, not regarding biases or anything like that, but regarding the rule set, the functions, what happens when and why, specifically regarding ref script, strap, and the time structures. Luckily, Sam helped me out a lot. I didn't have to run the timer like he did with the Wyatt match for me. He ran the timer for the 30 seconds to get their grip and the timer for the 90 seconds in between rounds. So interesting, Masen and Wyatt left arm, they never even came close to taking their 90 seconds. Nah, not even close. I'm not really sure why that is, but it seemed like they knew what was up and they just wanted to get it over with. So, yeah, check out Finland's WRLD for the full clip. I don't know when it'll be posted, but it's a lot easier for me to just sit on this old furniture here, record my thoughts, than it is to edit everything together. Aiden's doing a really good job with stuff. It's really impressive. But the guys just seem to walk away from the table and go, okay, that's what I did? That's what just happened? Okay, get that right in their mind, and then they would go back to the table. Sam was saying about 50 seconds remaining on the 90-second timer, and they'd be back up there. So that was speedy. We'd already been there a long while, and that match took probably 20 minutes or more. Really impressive, really good. No issues putting the strap on. It was beautiful. No issues with consent or agreement or grip or position on the table. No argument with me. No debate. I don't even think they had any. If they had questions, they just asked the question. Yeah, easy day, easy peasy. Really easy to set up. They were both straight. They might have been like that. They might have been like that. But they were straight. Both silver bullet matches. Both went the distance. Tied in the end. I think the Masen versus, I keep wanting to call him Aiden. Masen versus Wyatt match went 2-0 to Masen outside of straps. Wyatt got a stop and was able to slip. Struggled to slip. I was so shocked at Masen's hand strength, because I can slip from him, but I also have really good regrip strength and stuff like that, so I don't know how that differs from Wyatt. But anyway, the day of, right, they're going to be really strong that day. So impressive. And them working through, pinning out of the strap when the one guy's trying to escape the hold. Oh, it was such a good match. At least from my perspective. I had a great vantage point from earlier on in the day before the sun went down for the Wyatt versus Masen match. And then, so 2 matches right off the bat, outside of straps. Wyatt gets the slip and the strap in the third round. Oh, just murders him. pretty decisively. Last 2 rounds, I think it was. King's move. Okay, this is on the left arm. King's move absolutely came into play, and we did have a double King's move. So the Wyatt won. Okay, but so we have 2, and then we have 1. Wyatt won another 1. Then Masen won 1, and then Wyatt won 2. So those last 2 matches, we had a flop, which ended in a foul, and I can't remember if you pinned. It might have ended in a double foul, so winner Wyatt. But we had a flop wrist press come in from Masen. He couldn't finish it against Wyatt, which is really impressive because I've always been able to pin Wyatt with a press really easily on the left, and I don't train my press, it's just from arm wrestling table. So he must have really put in the work for his riser and his, pronation and everything, because that's in the strap, King's move from Wyatt on that outside King's move. And then the very last round, they both opened it. Masen basically is forced to, but he's also not able to regrip because there's so much pressure, and Wyatt's applying clamping pressure. It's not immense, but it's significant, and rotating down, but he's losing his bicep angle quickly. It's burning, and Masen runs because of all his side pressure. All Wyatt's side pressure runs to the King's move, which I told him he better be ready for. And so they were both essentially King's moving. Then Wyatt drops into the King's move, and it became an issue of, okay, who still has their thumb, who's got what, and who can come back up. And once Masen was extended, Wyatt immediately began the thing that practicing with me, double King's move when we were both tired, taught him really well, which is that, okay, it's double Kings. Now I just had to beat his transition, right? Because we have enough side pressure that you can't just boom across. So we haven't broke our arm enough times, right, Michael Todd? So he comes up and he transitions to a press. Now when Wyatt flop wrist presses, there's no question. I don't need to be down. Oh, okay. Winner, Wyatt. Round 6. Or round 7, I mean. No issue at all. And then the phraseology was another thing. When a strap is earned, so a slip is achieved, they don't say strap. They don't say strap them up. They don't say going to strap. Armwrestling says strap match. Or we're going to the strap match. I gotta work on that. I didn't watch enough of their stuff, I guess. It was in the back of my mind, it just didn't cross over. None of the guys were totally clear on the rules, but they were all very prepared. So Wyatt came out on top with the left-handed match. 7 rounds, very close, very close. Came down to transition, power, technique, durability, strength in the strap, which had Wyatt on top. In the second match, much harder to referee, whether it was on Mark's side or Aiden's side, because it was both at times, always having to adjust center more than I'd like, and then there was a lot of movement after I would get them there. So, I mean, that's a good match, and I like that. And I would want that if I was competing. I would want that back and forth like that, but it's just a little more difficult. Very interesting to note. And then, whenever I would ref script them or apply the strap, I don't know. According to Sam, the down as he was in the position of down ref, Aiden was always perfectly straight. Whatever it was that Mark was doing, I did notice a couple times that his supinating ridge was separated from Aiden, and he was kind of out, away, and but not risen. It was just very odd. Um, I think it may have to do with how big his thumb muscle is right there. I told him that would be a disadvantage. Um, it's the thumb itself you want to grow and get bigger. Not per se, but anyway. So they're, they got together. Aiden had a lot of height most of the time. I don't know why Mark wasn't fighting for that. I guess he hasn't been listening to Devin's videos with training, but um, also we did get to see the stomp. First 2 rounds, I believe, and he had to work for it. There was some technical errors. Basically, I think Aiden let him see what was up. I mean, he tried, but he didn't really know what he was doing. Got in there, lost the first, and was like, oh, okay, let me try this a little better. Second round was like, oh, okay, there's a lane. I just have to get there faster. And then he kind of excelled. That also went 7 rounds, and Aiden came out on top. That 7th round, he lost on fouls. But I will say the multiple fouls, there really should have been like 4. I was trying to be nice, but there were multiple elbow infractions on behalf of Mark because he was in desperation. He couldn't get Aiden outside of his shoulder when their outside moves. They couldn't figure it out in the strap. It wasn't happening, and they came inside. Aiden was able to get him stopped, similar to how he stopped Wyatt. He was able to stop him right before the pin on his bicep and work his shoulder back in the match, get him back into the hook. And every time Mark would surge then for the pin and the hook, he would open up. And I've never, as strong as Mark is, I've never, even with me, seen him actually pin in a hook. He always rolls out of it, so I'm not surprised. I'm a little bit surprised that he was so strong that it still challenged Aiden, because, as I said, Mark's never done that. And he was able to keep him inside his shoulder. Mark couldn't get him out of his shoulder. According to Mark, Aiden was trying to press at a couple points, or at one point, and I didn't see that, but if that's the case, Mark did not move. I did see at one point, like I was focused on Mark's giant arm. It looked like the back of his arm looked like a shovel. That radialis was sticking up so huge. Unbelievable. I guess that maybe that was when Aiden was trying to press, but yeah, so the last round was on fouls. I don't recall exactly how each round went with them, but there should be a little note for each round for both of the super matches on who won and how many fouls there were for who. Yeah. Arm Wars, 2 fouls is a loss. So that was a good experience. Really appreciated for our group, for our club, the dedication, the preparation those guys put in. I think Aiden did 2 weeks off weights. I can't remember how long he said off table time. Obviously, he came to one more practice than I did. Mark, I think, had less practices than that. But Mark got a strap a couple weeks ago, and he wasn't able to get as much strap work in on the table, and he doesn't have a multi-spinner or anything, so that was a big factor for him, because out of the straps, I mean, it wasn't crazy, like, kind of like how Masen's was, but outside of straps, Mark had Aiden, and he wasn't really tiring. He was going to keep going. He had at least 4 or 5 rounds in him outside of the straps, just pin with that side pressure and that grip. But, I mean, if Aiden wants to slip, I can't imagine the hand strength. Maybe I can imagine it, but man, you just have to be amazing at holding on to something and being able to just squeeze and tear it down at side pressure, which is Mark's expertise. To be able to keep Aiden from slipping if he really wanted, and he wasn't able to. They did have a kind of a nasty slip. I was like, ooh. And before they, came back to the table again for the strap, Mark mentioned there was a chunk missing from his thumb, right there. So that was pretty cool. We got that much closer to King of the Table 5 level, where we leave blood on the table and have to mop it up and clean the handbag. We got close. Wyatt hurt his right arm, something in the shoulder, something going down the humerus, with his non-competing arm, holding the handbag or something. I don't know. Maybe something in the footage will help him figure out what that was and reveal the irritation. That's weird. It's arm wrestling. It's weird stuff happens. And then see any other injuries. Mark officially said that that was the most pumped he'd ever been when it was all over. And I looked down and he was just absolutely, he looked like a vein. His whole arm looked like a vein. Just one massive thing. I did think that Aiden looked small. He was looking big there for a while. He was just getting bigger and bigger every week as I saw him for about 3 weeks in a row. And I was like, no, it's definitely, I'm not seeing things. He's getting bigger. And then I saw him today. I was like, you've lost like 10 pounds. But I think he said he was 173 or 174. I don't know. If it's 178, I'm sorry. These really light guys, it means a lot to him. And he's normally 180, so that's significant. And he may have taken a little too much time off, but boy, did he look strong. And Mark has a good rise. But Aiden's rise is ridiculous. He's a natural posting top roll guy, heavy post. And Mark mentioned he's like, my plan was to top roll, but I could not compete with his riser to riser. He beat me every time, So Mark was at least conscious of that. There are more simple things that me and Wyatt and Sam get, and that, as much as Aiden thinks, like myself, I'm sure he understands, and Masen has come to understand. It's like when somebody low hand top rolls, they set up high, go out, and attack the little fingers. You're going to want to post that. You're going to want to get up over top of them and let them attack nothing, and take their hand high. And then, if someone's going to posting top roll, you have to be able to get them in a hook fast. Okay, that's the ultimate right there. If you can force someone posting top roll or in a hook, the post is so dangerous. Those Finlan boys are very post dominant, whereas mine sucks, but it's getting there. Let's see, what else? The armband strap. I'm not exactly sure which one Mark bought. Okay. It's not the super wide one. It's not the 1.5 inches. It is the inch. It's a full, nice, thick, full American size inch. Alright, thank you, Canada. And it's rough, and it's tough, and it has a metal buckle, and it's smooth, and it gets tight, and it stays tight, and I pulled on the left arm with it with Wyatt. With Wyatt with the armband strap. Oh, my hand was immediately sore after one pin. Oh, I actually have a mark still. I don't know if you can see. Probably can't see with this camera. I can see it in this lighting. But I think that's just because of a little bit of extra width. Maybe 1/8 or 1/4 of an inch compared to my own art arm strap, which is I think $14.95. And that extra width just irritated the tarsals and not the tarsals, the bones in the back of my hand, right there, because it's just new. The right, I arm wrestled right with it too, I believe. I don't know. Why did we arm wrestle in the strap on right? If we did, it didn't bother my right, but I'm used to that with the multi-spinner. So I'm really excited. Definitely going to buy a couple of those armbat straps, spend a couple $100 with them. Definitely hoping to be able to, when we get moved in here at the farm, get that one table built and utilize that bed, great grandma's bed frame, or whoever it was, that bed frame we have out there at the barn. That's some nice steel to use for the frame. That lumber in the attic, in Blue Springs. Yeah, it should be good. I got some weights here. I'm getting strong. The competition levels me up, so I'm expecting these guys about 2-3 weeks. If they deload properly, they'll be freaking awesome. Yeah. Yeah. The big events, they definitely help me. Big milestones, big improvements, but I don't have enough weights here anymore for myself. I have to do hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of reps with like 27 pounds now instead of 10, and my head's fine. So, it's hard to fathom the progress I'm making. But Wyatt did mention a rematch. So the right arm, and then also we still haven't done our left match. Well, he won though, didn't he? So if I challenged Wyatt, so if me and Wyatt arm wrestled Lefty, it would be me challenging him for the number 1 spot because he now holds it in our club. That would be kind of cool. I really love arm wrestling on the left. I think what excites me with the left arm is that I don't care at all. I do not care. I have no investment. If this spindly little thing does anything on the table at all, it's, I haven't really tried. I just arm wrestle with it because other people arm wrestle with it, and why wouldn't you arm wrestle both? Because one gets tired and then you can use the other and go back and forth. This is the one I put all my investment into, all my effort. We'll see what that's. My left is pure arm wrestling, John Brzezinski style training. My right is the experimental, technically stronger spearhead for me. Now, if that brand new spearhead you got breaks and you throw it and hit a rock on accident, well, you maybe should have stuck with stone, but just make the spark. Anyway, here I am just kind of rambling. A couple little thoughts there, no big deal. And we're at 23 minutes. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry for anything I said. I'm glad I got to say everything I just did, but I'm sorry that it took that long. I'll try and be more organized for myself and for all the people watching in the future. So basically my dad and my sisters. I see you. Yeah, so that's the recap. I love being the referee. I love the power position. I love the fairness. I love the attentiveness. It was a big enough thing for me with adrenaline and everything else watching that I think in the second match my speech was slurring. I couldn't announce the winner correctly or anything. But I was just so excited to be alert like that, and that I actually did warm up. It was very cold for me. I was gonna wear this jacket on top of this flannel, and I didn't bring it. That's too nice out. Got progressively colder as the sun went down. Shocker. Should have had that. As the night went on with the reffing, that warmed me up. Yeah, so that was a beautiful experience. I hope that I reffed good enough. Aiden's had it perfect, but I hope that I reffed good enough that they'll be able to use me in the future. And maybe if one of them want to ref, they can ask me some things that I learned from it, or just watch this video. Because the best teacher is experience, but if you can have a little bit more before the experience and after, that's really the best. Can't get any better than that. So, definitely helped me. They've all leveled up, I'm sure, after that, and yeah, we're all improving at a um, upward trajectory that I did not anticipate initially. I could not have predicted the progress we have made. Very encouraging. The Finlan boys have been a good addition to my life and to my influence. There's something to this bodybuilding, just a little bit, just a little bit. I don't really care for the big guys, right, in the bodybuilding too much, but that's all right. They're working for things, and you have the progressive overload, and you have the incremental gains, and you have all these things. They're working towards counting calories and macros and more technical things like that. That is respectable, and that's disciplinary.